Hey guys, it's Jami here from YoungWifeSky.com, and this week on the blog and on my audio podcast, we're talking about the basics and foundations of your homemaking. And we get really into theology, the gospel-centered mission behind our homemaking, and it's been really fun exploring that this week over on the blog and podcast. You can go over and find that at YoungWifeSky.com/Proverbs 31 if you want to go check that out. But today I wanted to get a little more practical. And I have something called My Homemaking Mentor. It's an online training academy. And so within this academy, there's 15 full courses on various aspects of homemaking. And we have 12 different mentors who teach inside that academy. They each have a different course, and I teach 4 courses within it. So anyway, within that, each of the different courses has some different themes around it. We have meal planning, all that kinds of stuff. So I thought it would be fun today because I want to talk about the practical aspects of our homemaking. So I thought it would be fun today if we pulled in different clips and some really good highlights from some of those courses to give us a really good overview of just some practical tips we can use in our homemaking. So in this video, you're going to hear from 4 different women, and you're going to see some just different practical aspects of running your home. And so I think this is going to be a really fun episode. I'm going to be popping back in and out between the clips. And first of all, I am going to show a clip of myself talking about the foundations and the basics of our homemaking. So let's go ahead and jump in. Having a gospel-centered home means purposefully and intentionally creating the goals, activities, and atmosphere in the home to be firmly centered on the gospel. But this gets more specific than just running a Christian household, because in and of itself, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. That is not very descriptive on what it means to have a gospel-centered home. So, gospel-centered home means intentionally focusing on the gospel of Christ in all aspects of our lives, in parenting our children, in our relationship with our husband, how we spend our time, the priorities we make throughout the day, and how we use those small pockets of extra time. The gospel impacts all of that, or at least it should. Because if we're honest with ourselves, how often do we really think about the gospel? How often are we dwelling in the beauty and the truth found there? And how do we actually even really understand what the gospel is and why it should have an impact on our daily life? So that's what we're digging into, because ladies, these truths are profound. These truths should rock our world and should be our focus every day. And so often they're not. So next up, we have Leanne from Intentional by Grace, and she teaches a course within the academy that is all about routines and schedules and setting up good routines within your homemaking, and then remembering our purpose within that. And so it's very encouraging and intentional, but it's very practical. And so I pulled a couple clips from her course just to help remind us about the purpose within our homemaking, and then how we build habits and routines out of that purpose. So let's go ahead and see what Leanne has to say.
But today, I want to take it a step further. I want to challenge you a little bit more, and especially challenge you if you're someone who thinks that routines are boring or too constricting. And I want to talk to you about it because I think routines are one of the most misunderstood parts of living intentionally. And so routines are not stiff schedules. Routines are not even necessarily done at the same time every single day. At noon o'clock, I'm gonna do my afternoon routine. That's not the case. I rarely do my routines at the same exact time every single day. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't even look at a clock 9 times out of 10 during the day. My day is on an autopilot. Even with all the things that come up, I've done my routines for so long that they've gotten to be autopilot. So I kind of know where I am in the day by my routines. I don't even have to look at a clock anymore. And I never have been a clock watcher, which I think you might find surprising as somebody who talks about living intentionally all the time. I think you might have expected that this was going to be a course that might teach you how to schedule your time better, but it's not, because I don't find them to work. I feel like schedules are something people easily give up. So I'm a routine person, and I thrive on routines because my routines fit into my life. My life does not fit into my routines. And your tip for today is to look at the people. What does that mean? So I can specifically remember a time, the day that I felt like God really spoke this truth to my heart. I was tired. I was exhausted. I did not want to get up to the crying baby, although he wasn't crying. He was just whimpering. He was just saying, "Mommy, I'm hungry. Come feed me." He was so little still, and he's still so little. At the time of this shooting, my baby is 8 months old actually today. And so he probably wasn't more than a few months old, and so he was whimpering and he was ready to eat, and I looked at the clock and it was time for a new day. It was time to get started, and so I crept down the stairs and I hopped over the top stair that inevitably creaks so that I didn't wake my toddler, and went into the room to get my baby. And as I was feeding him and I was exhausted and I was praying and I was like, "God, I need your help. I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do another task. I don't want to do another routine. I don't want to be intentional. I wouldn't do that intentional rest thing all day when that's not the point of the rest, right? But that's what I wanted to do. I was exhausted and tired, and I was just kind of praying, "Lord, you're going to have to give me strength. You're going to have to help me do this thing today." And I just felt like he whispered to me, "Look at your baby. Look at him. He's the person. He's the little thing, this little human, this little bundle of joy created in my image. And this is why you're doing what you're doing. This is why you're giving up your body as you continue to nourish your baby. This is why you go down and do that laundry and make those breakfasts. Look at these people. Look at these little people that I've given you. Look at the people behind what you're doing. They're souls. And they're made in my image. And I love them, and you love them, and you're focusing on the wrong things." And that's what I just felt like the Spirit just really prompted while I was praying as I was nursing my baby that morning. And I was like, wow, that's so convicting, isn't it? And so as I got up and I went downstairs and I made my coffee, and I actually got in some Bible time that morning, which was such a blessing. And then the day began, and the day went by in preparing meals and folding laundry and cleaning up craft supplies and disciplining toddlers and teaching a baby to say mama. The dishes were washed only to be dirtied again. The laundry cleaned only to be soiled again. The beds made only to be ruffled again. And it was this endless toil that I realized, and I kept thinking over what God had felt like the Spirit spoke to me that morning, was that these little mundane things, these everyday routines, they drive us to be intentional. They force you to remind yourself of the bigger picture of why you do what you do. Why are we seeking to live intentionally? As I've said before, it's not about so we can be better people. It's about glorifying God. And what does God call us to do? As each of us have an individual calling, but we collectively as Christians have a calling to love God and love people, right?
I just love how intentional Leanne gets with that, and remembering that it is about the relationships within our home and bringing glory to God that matter ultimately at the end of the day. And so if we can keep that in mind, it's going to help us get intentional about the rest of the things within our home. And I just love those reminders. So Leanne's course is just full of those reminders. And so I hope you appreciated that glimpse into that. The next few clips I want to show are from my course, Meal Planning Boot Camp. And now meal planning is one of the very best things that I've ever done in my home to invest in planning for our budget, for just all kinds of things. And I'm going to talk a little bit in these clips about the benefits of meal planning. And I've got some more resources on my blog about meal planning as well. So you can head over back to the show notes and find out all about just more resources for meal planning because I think it is so important for our home. And there's so many different ways to meal plan that can work throughout your individual personalities. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into a few clips of my meal planning boot camp. Meal planning can help you stick to your grocery budget, eliminate that fatigue of trying to figure out what's for dinner every night, give more variety to your meals, and help you eat healthier meals and more. If you've never tried meal planning or haven't found a good method for you and your family, then in this first lesson, we're going to cover the basics of why you should meal plan. I want to give you the encouragement that this isn't just one more thing to add to your to-do list, but rather something that will help you breathe and get organized in your kitchen. So let's jump in. Meal planning is one of the very first things I really spent time learning when I was a brand new wife. I had zero cooking skills, I had no idea how to stick to a grocery budget, and I had no family favorite recipes to draw upon. So I dove headfirst into meal planning, and over the years, it has helped me tremendously. So, number one, I want to answer, why should you meal plan? I know that if you don't currently meal plan, or maybe you've gotten out of a season or the habit of it, it might feel like adding one more thing to your already busy schedule. And I'll be honest, in these seasons where I have newborns, when life gets busy, meal planning seems to be one of those things that falls off my list because it just feels like another thing to do. But then I realize the impact that it has on my grocery budget, on my planning, and we just eat out more. And so meal planning to me is one of those things that it's so easy to forget and to let fall off our list, and yet it has such an impact. And while it might take a little bit of work up front, meal planning is so beneficial in the long run. I know a ton of people who love planning out their meals on a monthly basis. So before we jump into the how-to, let's first talk about some benefits of planning on a monthly basis. Number one is that it's very time effective. Instead of having to pull all your cookbooks and compile all your meals every single week, you're doing this once per month, and this means you're only meal planning 12 times per year, which sounds fantastic. So if you hate the process of meal planning or you just never can seem to get into it, then this method might be perfect for you because you're only doing it 12 times a year. Number two is that it can be very budget friendly. Especially for those of you who are only paid once a month, this ensures that you stick within your budget because you're doing one big purchase a month that's within your budget. You're planning it ahead up front. And it's so much easier to see what you're actually spending your money on when you've got it all right there on the conveyor belt at once. Plus, this cuts down majorly on impulse purchases because you're in the grocery store a whole lot less than you would be otherwise. Number three is that this is perfect for freezer cooking. If you love to do a ton of freezer cooking over a couple of days and store those meals in your freezer for the rest of the month, then of course this method is for you. We're not going to cover freezer cooking in the scope of this course, but I'm currently working on another course that will be here in the Academy soon that gives you everything you need to know for freezer cooking, recipes, planning, all of that and more. So stay tuned for that. Okay, the method. How do you actually do once a month planning? This is a very similar method that I use for my meal planning that I do once a week, but you're doing a month at once instead of every week. And this becomes easy if you plan to make the same recipe a couple times throughout the month. So pick recipes you love or recipes that are easy to double and make more of and add them in throughout your month. You're going to be taking a full calendar and adding in a month of meals. So I hoped you liked a little bit of what I shared about meal planning. I really think that if you are overwhelmed in your home, if you're overwhelmed especially when it comes to your kitchen and keeping on top of everything, meal planning is one of the number one things you can do to really rein back in that control, to really get intentional with your finances, with your time, with the health, the nutrition of your family. So much stuff is affected by our meal planning and getting intentional about that. Okay, so next up is some clips from a course called A Simple Guide to Housekeeping by Hillary Bernstein. And Hillary has got some awesome tips for us. She really takes that idea of being intentional in our home and that within our home we want to glorify God, and she takes that and marries that with really, really practical tips within our home for simple housekeeping. And she says in her course over and over again that she is all about simple, making things simple and easy. And I can totally get on board with that. And so in this course, she really just teaches about simple homemaking routines, housekeeping routines, how to keep up on stuff. And so the first thing she's going to talk about is keeping that routine simple, and how a routine is maybe a little bit different from a schedule and why that can really help. And then she's going to share a little bit about getting on top of your kitchen. So let's jump in to her clips.
So first things, I think, as we talk about laundry or think about laundry, the most important step is, aside from actually doing it, the most important step is figuring out what laundry routine works best for you. Now, if you don't have access to a washing machine or a dryer, then that's going to look like setting aside time every week or every couple weeks or even every month to go and either go to the laundromat or go to someone else's house and to wash and dry your clothing there. If you do have a washer and a dryer in your own home, then it's important to figure out what kind of laundry routine works best for you and your schedule. Hi, I'm Hillary from HillaryBernstein.com, and in today's lesson, I would like to teach you how to clean your kitchen. As we're cleaning our kitchens, I want to offer a bit of encouragement at first, and that is that our kitchens are the most used rooms in our homes. As we are cooking food for ourselves and for our families, we could be in our kitchens messing them up with food preparation as much as 3 times a day, and even more if you count snacks. And so as you are making and creating all of those meals, you're also needing to clean them up. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And as we go through, I will show you where I always start first, and that's with my dishes. As soon as I clean my dirty dishes, then I focus on the rest of my kitchen. And as I show you in these sessions, in this lesson today, I'll show you how I also clean surfaces, how I deep clean my refrigerator and my oven, and also how I clean out my pantry. Now, all of these chores I don't do very often. Some of them I will do 2 or 3 times a year. But the chores I do every day are the washing the dishes and decluttering the surfaces. So if you're ready to get started, let's head into my kitchen.
Okay, ladies, so the very last course I want to show you is a course from Marcy Farrell, and she blogs over at thankfulhomemaker.com. If you do not know her, I highly recommend you go over to her blog right now and go check her out, thankfulhomemaker.com. Marcy has become such a mentor in my own life. She has so much wisdom, so much practical, biblical advice. Everything she does, everything she talks about is so thoroughly rooted and grounded in scripture. I adore Marcy, and I just think she has so much wisdom to share. And so she also has a course within the Academy on simple homemaking routines and habits. And hers is a really short course, but what I love about it is that she gets right to the point. And so what I want to share with you today from her course is talking about morning routines and morning schedules. And I love the wisdom and the practical advice and just from her years of knowledge in homemaking and experience that she brings. And so Marcy has blessed me time and again. And so I hope that you love these 2 clips from her. So let's jump in.
Hello, ladies. I am Marcy Farrell, and I blog over at Thankful Homemaker. Again, I'm joining you as part of my Homemaking Mentor online training academy. And my course for this teaching is Simple Cleaning Routines to Keep Order in Your Home. And today's lesson is setting up a realistic morning routine. I really love mornings, and my morning routine has really helped me to love mornings even more because it gives me a really good start to my day. Starting your day strong is important because if the rest of your day just doesn't go as planned, you have already accomplished so many things in that first 30 minutes of the day that you'd never catch up on the rest of the day. Most of the things that I'm going to share with you in my list take maybe 5 to 10 minutes. The longest aspects are obviously time in the Word, getting dressed, and eating breakfast. We're going to work together, and I want to help you to personalize your own morning routine. So as I'm doing this, again, use mine as a guide, but determine what your home looks like. You're in a different season than I am with ages of children and the tasks that you have to do during the day. So I want you to customize this with a routine that works for you. Having routines will help your whole day run smoothly. So I really encourage you to pursue this one because as they become habits, It's just something that happens. I mean, think about it. You just naturally brush your teeth every day. You just normally empty the dishwasher. It's just things that have become habits. So there's other things that maybe we would all love to have habits in, spending time in the Word, exercising. And by just doing those on a normal basis, they become a natural part of your outpouring of your day. So let's start the day with focus and structure and not chaos. And if the day turns out chaos, that first hour you've already accomplished a lot. So let's get rolling together. But let me just throw out to you in a nutshell what my list looks like. I'm going to give you a quick rundown, and then I'm going to take you through it step by step. So I have time in the Word. I have exercise. Well, that's not a daily one, but I try to get there. Shower, get dressed, do my 5-minute bathroom cleanup, make the bed, get laundry started, empty the dishwasher. If you have pets to deal with, we just have a cat right now, so it's just dealing with pet stuff. Breakfast, think about what's for dinner. I will take a moment to kind of sit and tidy at my kitchen desk and take a look at my calendar and what my day looks like. And then from there, I may get on to check email or other things, but I really like to try to wait to even touch that computer until I've got through my morning routine. I'd love to encourage you to do the same.
I just love that advice from Marcy. Again, you can go check her out at thankfulhomemaker.com. She is fabulous. And I just hope that you enjoyed these clips. I really love bringing together clips and videos and teaching from other women because each of us has such different personalities, the way we do things in our home, different unique family situations. And so I love bringing together other women so that we can learn and grow together, which really is that foundation of Titus 2. And I love getting to bring people together. And so I just thought it would be fun today if you got to hear from a couple different people and get kind of their insights into how they do things. And so I just hope that you enjoyed this. I'm going to do another one of these videos next week, and we're going to be talking about marriage. And I've got a couple different people, speakers that I'm going to bring on to share that. And then really quick, if these videos interested you in the Academy, you can go check it out at myhomemakingmentor.com. Each of these clips from today was from a full entire course that's within the Academy. So there are 15 full courses, 12 different mentors, 50 plus videos. When you enroll in the Academy, you get lifetime access. So if you feel a little overwhelmed, like when are you going to get through all these videos? You can watch them forever. You can watch them on any device, anytime, anywhere. Download the videos, watch them offline. You have complete control and you have access forever. So I really want to encourage you that if you're interested in this at all, head over to myhomemakingmentor.com, and enrollment for the spring is going to be closing down April 3rd. So you will not be able to enroll after April 3rd until the fall of 2017. And the price is going to be going up because we're going to have even more courses added by then. And when you become a member, you get access to all future courses for free, any more that we come out within the Academy, which we have a lot planned, which is super exciting. So again, enrollment's closing down April 3rd. If it is after April 3rd when you're watching this, then you can still head over to myhomemakingmentor.com and sign up to get updates about when the Academy opens up for enrollment again this fall. So anyway, just want to encourage you, if you're interested in this, just go check out the details, myhomemakingmentor.com. And then if you want to find any of the links and resources mentioned in this episode today, head back over to my blog at youngwifesguide.com/session062. You're going to find the show notes, everything, all the links. And I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be back here next week for another episode on marriage.